Hi, I'm Carice Anderson, the author of Intelligence Isn't Enough, a Black professional's guide to thriving in the workplace. I'm going to share with you 5 ways for you to push past your comfort zone so that you can grow professionally and personally. Number 1, accept that it will suck at the beginning. Change sucks. I won't lie to you. At least that's how I feel at the beginning of any major shift in my own personal life or professional life. In 2010, I left Atlanta and moved to Johannesburg, South Africa, to be with my husband, who I just married the year before. And I will not lie, when I first moved to South Africa, I missed everything about my old life. So I understand the idea of sort of second guessing yourself after you've stepped outside of your comfort zone. But I want to let you know that doesn't mean that you're ungrateful or unwilling to grow or to step into a new and unfamiliar space. It just means that you're human, and you need to extend some grace and some compassion to yourself to give yourself the opportunity to get comfortable in your new space. Number 2, remind yourself of your why. Why had I decided to move to South Africa? And there are really 2 reasons behind it. The first one was I thought, as much as I love my job, it would probably be easier to find another job than to find another husband. The other strategy that I also use when I'm stepping into a new space is I try to remind myself 20, 30 years from now, well, I regret that I didn't take this opportunity. Well, I regret that I decided to lean into my fears as opposed to stepping outside of what's comfortable for me so that I could learn and so that I could grow. And so I encourage you all to keep going back to your why. Keep going back to the rationale behind that decision when you feel yourself wavering or grieving your old life. Number 3, remember the past. Whenever I'm stepping into a new situation, stepping into some sort of change or out of my comfort zone, I often will reflect on when was the last time that I felt this sense of discomfort and unease. And I will remind myself that I was probably going through some sort of change, some sort of learning curve, and I was able to be successful in that space. As I was making my transition and actually moving to South Africa, I started to reflect on when was the last time I felt this level of discomfort or unease, and it was actually when I moved to Boston to start the MBA program at Harvard Business School. I had so many questions that ranged from the serious, which is, can I graduate? Can I get this piece of paper? To the silly, who's gonna do my hair? Who's gonna do my eyebrows? I had all of these questions and I had to remind myself that it all worked out. I got the piece of paper and more importantly, I found somebody to do my eyebrows and do my hair, right? And I think reminding myself that I was able to survive and thrive that level of discomfort and change made me realize I could do that again. And if you think about it, if you are alive right now, you have survived 100% of the change, 100% of the chaos, 100% of stepping outside of your comfort zone, and it all worked out. And so if you can survive all of those changes, you can also survive and thrive in this one. So reminding yourself of what you survived and thrived in the past and bringing that sense of confidence to your current change, I think is a very important step for you to take. Number 4, focus on what you can gain, not just what you're losing. When I think about the 10 years that I spent living in South Africa, I reflect on the people that I met that I never would have met had I not stepped outside of my comfort zone of living in the U.S. I think about the companies that I worked for that I may never have worked for had I not left the U.S. I think oftentimes when we step outside of our comfort zone, we lament all the things that we've left behind, whether it's old colleagues or a sense of comfort in terms of knowing what we were doing and being successful. But I encourage you all to really think about what are the opportunities and the possibilities that your new thing offers that your old thing couldn't. I got a book publishing deal and published my book while I was in South Africa, and my publishing company actually published my book in the UK as well. And so if I reflect on all of these opportunities that I got just by getting over that discomfort and stepping outside of what was familiar to me, that makes all of the sort of the unease worth it. Number 5, focus on what you can control and influence. The biggest factor in the change equation is you. And one of the elements that I talk about in my book is knowing yourself. And so I know for me personally, when I experience some sort of change or step outside of my comfort zone, I throw a bit of an adult tantrum. But I also know that at some point I'm gonna get over that and I'm gonna yield myself fully to this new experience. And I think for me, knowing the things that are really important to me, and that's where I decided to focus my energies. That's why I encourage people, when you're going through change, when you're going through stepping outside of your comfort zone or outside of your personal preferences, focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can influence. Direct your energy in that way, and I think you will feel much more empowered and much more productive.